Okay, so you should have opened up the, I think it says, or yes, Eukaryotic Organelles Lab in today's Schoology folder. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to build eukaryotic cells and see what's inside of those eukaryotic cells. Now remember, eukaryotic cells can be found in organisms like plants and animals. And that's what we're going to be building today, cells that you can find in plants and animals. And we're going to look at what's inside of those cells. And those structures that are inside the cells that do specific jobs are called organelles. So I want you to go to this first website. If that first website doesn't work, go to the second website, and it should look like this. When you click on start, you're going to be taking a look at the directions that are here. You're going to look at 12 organelles or structures, and you're going to build a cell you would find, a eukaryotic cell you would find in animals and also plants. All right, so we're going to click on continue, and here's just some more directions. We're first going to start with a eukaryotic cell that we would find in animals. If I scroll over the organelles here, I'm going to find a description about that specific organelle. And then I'm going to drag and drop each one of these organelles into this white space to see which organelles belong to the animal. And if it's wrong, you'll get an error message. So the first thing that we got to do is we got to build the outside of the cell. So we can't start with putting stuff inside the cell unless we get the outside. So let's take a look here. So here I'm just scrolling over each organelle to look at the description. Here it says the cell membrane is a fluid structure that serves as a boundary between the cell and its external environment. It controls the movement of substances into and out of the cell. And the cytoplasm is the area is the area between the nucleus and the cell membrane that contains enzymes, which we talked about before. They're proteins that help speed up chemical reactions. So that I see the word boundary, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that. Must be the outside of the cell. And it does fit because I didn't get an error message. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my Google Doc because I'm going to take this description and match it to the correct function in my table. All right, so if you see in your table, there's different organelles that are categorized into different things. So here, these organelles are all about cell boundaries. These organelles are all about these structures store, clean up, and break things down. These capture and release energy, and these help to build proteins. So I know that the cell membrane, we said it was a boundary for the cell and its outside, and it helps to move substances in and out of the cell. So I know I need to go to the cell boundaries section. All right, there's 3 of them here. And the first one looks right already. It says the boundary between the cell and the environment controls what moves in and out of the cell. That sounds just like what we had in the website. So I'm going to write cell membrane in a different font color. Okay. And there was another one though too. It says cytoplasm. Cytoplasm, and I'm reading this from the description. The cytoplasm is the area between the nucleus and the cell membrane. So it's all of this gray area here. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that that's what it says. Fluid part of the cell. Okay, it's the area between the cell membrane and the nucleus. All right. So even though the fluid part of the cell was not on the website, it does say it's the area between the cell membrane and the nucleus. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I write that down, cytoplasm. Okay, if we look at the next column, it says it's a picture of the organelle. So I just want to make sure here's what the picture looks like. I'm going to drag and drop from here. Here's the picture that's with the cell membrane and the cytoplasm. I'm going to drag and drop it to that location. And what are we creating right now? We're creating, it says, which organism is it found in? We're looking at a eukaryotic cell that's found in an animal. So make sure to type it in a different font color. This memory clue section, leave it blank because we're going to write the memory clues together during our next class. Okay, and that's what you're going to continue to do. You're going to drag and drop these different organelles to see if it belongs to animal cells And if it's not, let's say the cell wall, if it doesn't belong, you'll see an error message here. Okay, we'll do one more. Let's say, vacuole. All right, so if I click vacuole is the only one that you need to click on, and there's two different types of vacuoles. Here we have one large vacuole, so I'm going to see if that actually is in an animal cell, and it's not. Okay, so I'm going to click on vacuole. Maybe the many small vacuoles are in an animal cell, and it is. So I'm going, since it's in an animal cell, I'm going to read the description. It says, vacuoles are especially important in plant cells for the storage of substances and for breaking down cell waste, but smaller vacuoles are also found in animal cells and protists. So I know they're there for storing things, and it says also breaking down cell waste. So I'm going to go back to the Google Doc. Cell boundaries, it has nothing to do with cell boundaries. It has something to do with storage and cell waste, breaking them down. The next one, it says organelles that store, okay, it says store and it breaks down. So which one talks about that? Which of these two? Well, the first one says store substances and it breaks down like food and water, and it breaks down cell waste. Okay, that's what we read. Plant cells have one large central vacuole, and then animals have many small vacuoles, and that's what we said in the description. Okay, animal cells have lots of many small vacuoles. So I'm going to write vacuole and make sure to type it in a different font color. All right, the next thing is we need to get a picture, the picture of the organelle. So here's the picture. Okay, all right, so we need to find that in here. Oh, here it is, the vacuole. So I'm going to just move it down. Okay, and remember the last one is, it says which organism is it found in? Well, right now we're still just making an animal cell, so I'm going to write animal, and I'm going to change the font color for that. And remember this last column here, memory clue, we're going to leave it blank, okay, because we're going to do that later on together. All right, and that's what you're going to be doing. You're first going to build the animal cell, and you see here at the bottom, it's not complete. So that means I still have to keep adding all the different organelles that do fit in a eukaryotic animal cell. Okay. Over here, you'll see a message that says your animal cell is complete. Now you can click on the plant tab, and then you're going to click build a plant cell. All right, so the first thing is you still have to go ahead and make sure that you have the outside parts. So here we have the cell membrane, and that's also in a plant cell. So I'm actually going to go back to my Google Doc. We already did cell membrane and cytoplasm, so I'm going to say that it's also in plants. Okay, so if you see some organelles are not just in animals, they're also in plants. So I'm going to add that there. All right, and you're going to continue to build until you get that message again that says your plant cell is complete. When your plant cell is complete, you're going to click on the continue button. And the directions are here. You have a Venn diagram that shows all the different organelles, and you're going to drag and drop these names into the Venn diagram. Now, here's the thing, okay? Every single time you drag and drop the name of the organelle into the Venn diagram, I need you to make sure that you check your table here to make sure it's right. But when you scroll down, every single time you drag and drop it, you have to immediately type your answers into that section, okay? And when you filled out everything, you're gonna go ahead and click on check work. Now remember, as you're going along, as you drag and drop, you need to make sure that you go ahead and type in the names of the organelles in the right spots, because if you click on check after work, and you haven't filled this out, the website will just restart. Okay, if everything was correct, it'll just restart everything. And that means you're gonna have to start all the way from the beginning and build your animal cell, build your plant cell to get to this section again. So it's gonna just restart it if everything is correct. If things are incorrect, then you just go ahead and make sure you correct any changes and type it in the right spots. But if everything is correct, it'll just go ahead and say, good job, so it'll give you a message, and then you have to restart all over again if you didn't already type in this section. All right, so that's the activity. Once you're done, submit it through Schoology.